Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young man named John. John was an ordinary boy with an extraordinary dream: to become a marathon runner and compete at the national level. But there was a catch. John had never run a day in his life. In fact, he was known for being clumsy and slow. His friends teased him, and his neighbors doubted him. Yet, deep inside, John believed he could do it. One day, while watching a famous marathon on TV, John felt an unshakable pull in his heart. He decided it was time to take the first step. The very next morning, before the sun rose, John laced up his old sneakers and stepped outside. The air was cold, the road was long, and his lungs burned after just a few steps. But John didn't stop. He stumbled, tripped, and gasped for breath. But each day, he pushed himself just a little further. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Rain, sun, or snow, John ran. He fell many times, sometimes on the road, sometimes in his mind, but every time, he got back up. He learned that progress wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing up. John started to improve. The once-out-of-reach mile became his warm-up. His friends began noticing his determination, and their laughter turned into cheers. Even his harshest critics started to admire his grit. After a year of relentless training, John signed up for his first race. The big day arrived, and John stood at the starting line, surrounded by experienced runners. His heart pounded, but he reminded himself, "I've worked for this. I belong here." As the race began, John ran, not to win, but to prove to himself that he could finish. With every step, memories of his struggles played in his mind, fueling him forward. The finish line was in sight, and John's legs felt like lead. But then he heard something, a chant from the crowd. "Go, John! Go, John!" His friends, neighbors, and even strangers were cheering for him. With a final burst of energy, John crossed the finish line. He wasn't first, but he wasn't last. More importantly, he had done what many thought was impossible. Tears streamed down his face as he realized this was just the beginning. John's story reminds us that the real race isn't against others, it's against the doubts in our minds. Every small step forward, no matter how hard, brings us closer to our dreams. So, lace up your shoes, take that first step, and never stop running toward your goals. Because if John could do it, so can you.